Hi, I'm attorney Dave Buckley. I've often said that when you are injured in an accident through no fault of your own, however that accident happens, car accident, motorcycle accident, slip and fall, dog bite, whatever the mechanism of the injury is, I always say that it's vital that you get medical treatment within 24 hours of the accident. Firstly, because you need to get the medical care necessary. You need to have a diagnosis. You need to know what's wrong with you, and you need to be treated so that further harm isn't caused by delaying in getting you treatment. That's always going to be first and foremost. Secondly, though, is if you're going to pursue a personal injury claim, it's very important that your injury is documented as close in time as to when that injury occurred, so that there's a medical record. Um, because the more time that goes by, if you're injured on, say, a Monday, and you don't get treated until the following Sunday, 6 days later, um, that gap in time is going to be jumped on by the insurance adjuster to say, well, how do we know this injury didn't happen sometime after the accident? How do we know that the person didn't fall down a flight of stairs or something else? And that's a fair observation. And this is why it's so vital to be seen as quickly as possible, so that it's documented that your injury was caused by this particular event through no fault of your own. So I always preach that. I'm always stressing that needs to be done. But sometimes that isn't done. But when that isn't done, and I ask people why you didn't do it, sometimes we can cure. Sometimes there's a great reason why there was a gap in treatment. And so just because, if you've heard me say before, if you don't get treatment within 24 hours, and you don't think you don't have a case. Um, so long as there's a good explanation as to why you did not get treatment, that would be used as a reason. Now, for instance, I had a fellow who just the other day called me up. He was in a car accident. When was it? About 7 days ago, 6 days ago. And when I spoke to him yesterday, I asked him if he'd gone to the hospital, and he said no. And I said, why? And he said because he works for a big shipping company. We all know who I might be referring to. Biggest shipping company in the world. And he works in shipping and receiving. And as I'm recording this, it's December. It's actually Christmas Eve. And he said he could not take time off from work because it is the busiest time of the year. And if he banged out of work, chances are he was going to be disciplined or suspended or fired. And so he had to just suck it up, even though his neck hurt and his back hurt. And he wound up, after I got off the phone, well, when I was on the phone with him, I said, you need to go right now to anywhere. You go to an acute care center, any place that you can, a walk-in clinic, so long as you document. Just walk in and say, I was in a car accident 6 days ago. I've been in a lot of pain since then. My neck hurts, my back hurts, whatever the situation is. But that is an explainable gap in treatment. Why did you not get treatment? Well, because I work for the biggest shipping and receiving company in the world, and it's Christmas week, and I couldn't take the time off. That's a good reason. There are people who might have been banged up, and they're sore, and maybe their shoulder hurts, maybe their leg hurts, and they'll go home and they'll take Advil or Aleve, and they'll think that just over time, a couple of 3 days will cause the pain, or the pain will subside. And then when it doesn't, and now they're going to the acute care center or the emergency room for the first time after 3 or 4 days. And so long as they're explaining, I was in an accident, I slipped and fell here, or whatever the situation is, so long as you are identifying the source of your injury, and you might add, well, and I didn't come in right away because I thought the pain was going to go away. So long as we can explain why you did not seek treatment, and it's a good reason, we will use that as an alternative as to trying to connect those dots. The insurance company is still going to jump on it. The insurance company is going to say, well, how hurt could they have been if they didn't go to get medical treatment right away? But so long as there's a good reason for that gap in treatment, then that will be used as a basis to say the injury was related to the mechanism of injury, the car accident, the motorcycle accident, the slip and fall, whatever the situation is. So just because you've been involved in an accident through no fault of your own and you don't get care right away, don't think you don't have a claim. Get care immediately, once upon you're realizing that you're still not getting better, and hopefully that will be enough to establish the connection between the time you got injured and the date that you sought medical treatment. I hope that helps.